It's that time of the year again. Something is in the air and people are falling left and right from the love bug. It's very dangerous. You should probably just stay inside so you don't catch it. I've been getting a little sniffly myself. Hi everybody, my name's King Nooseme. Valentine's Day is a holiday about loving one another and spending time with your significant other. Or situationship, I don't know, I don't judge. But because the holiday is surrounded by love and happiness, not very many horror movies or shows really tackle the holiday for an episode. Not saying they don't exist, there are a few movies out there. The most recent one being Hard Eyes that came out just last year, which is actually not that bad of a movie. I was quite surprised. But if you know anything about The Haunting Hour, you know that they love a good holiday episode. Hell, they even have one for St. Patrick's Day. But not Thanksgiving? What do you guys have against turkeys, The Haunting Hour? Today we're taking a look at the 14th episode of the 3rd season, Terrible Love. A fun little Valentine's Day episode that teaches kids that too much love can be scary. It also stars David DeLuise as Cupid. You might know him as the dad Jerry in Wizards of Waverly Place, but not many people know that his brother Peter DeLuise is a director for the show, so that's probably how he got this gig. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. For those who don't know, The Haunting Hour is a kids anthology horror show that aired from 2010 to 2014 on a now defunct channel called The Hub. It was created by R.L. Stine, who's known for his popular book series turned TV show, Goosebumps. But The Haunting Hour is known as a darker version of Goosebumps and is one of the scariest kid shows of all time. With its eerie visuals, some actually terrifying monsters, and pretty dark twist endings to the episodes. They take short stories from some of Stine's other books, like one so conveniently named The Haunting Hour, and another one called The Nightmare Hours for the stories in their show. Terrible Love was directed by Ken Friss, one of the best directors for the show, in my opinion. He directed some great episodes, like the previous episode I talked about, The Girl in the Painting. Go check that video out. But he also directed bangers like Uncle Howie and Scarecrow. It was written by the duo Natalie LaPointe and Greg Yolen, and they wrote episodes like Red Eye, Spores, and My Old House. But that's enough background information. It's time to cuddle up with your significant other and grab some popcorn or those little chalky heart candies and stop yapping and get into the episode. We start this episode with chemistry. No, like seriously, they're in chemistry. Their teacher, Miss Stevenson, is teaching the class about chemical reactions and how important they are to literally everything. Even humans have chemical reactions all the time, especially our main character, Maggie, who's not paying any attention at all. She's just staring at her crush, Brendan, while a dude who has a crush on her named Stuart does the same thing right behind her. Miss Stevenson tells the kids that every emotion that you feel is a chemical reaction. Even love. It doesn't come from some magic flying baby with a bow, although Maggie wishes it were that easy. They continue with class and Maggie is just smitten with Brandon, so much so that she can't taste the ink pouring into her mouth from this pen she won't stop chewing on. Luckily, her teacher stopped her before too much got into her mouth and a new chemical reaction occurred, called vomit. The class sets up for an experiment where they're going to mix chlorine with sodium to create salt. But they're gonna add an extra element to create a whole new reaction. So Miss Stevenson warns everybody that they should add salt to their beaker because their reaction will get very hot very fast. But Maggie is too infatuated over the crimson chin over here that she didn't hear any of the instructions and she just dumps all this salt into the beaker and that's why you should pay attention in chemistry class. But now that we have a small break so the fire department can come check on the school, let's talk about the actors real quick. Maggie's played by Emma Grabinski, who's in the episodes Creature Feature, Ghostly Stare, and Miss Worthington. Miss Stevenson is played by Rukia Bernard, and sadly she isn't in another episode of the show, but she was Simone in Yellow Jackets, so that's pretty cool. Brendan is played by Joel Simande, and he also wasn't in another episode of the show. But my boy Stuart is played by Nick Percha, and he is in some great episodes like Mascot, with my beloved Big Yellow, and Lights Out. But most importantly, he is Watch in the Spooksville show. Probably my favorite character in the show. He's like actually kind of cool. Unlike in this episode where they tried their best to make him look as nerdy as possible. Like, what is that haircut? When Maggie comes back to life, the room is covered in the smoke that she created, and she's startled by a middle-aged man in a pretty nice suit. And he introduces himself as
Enteros, Sentinel of the Erotus.
Who?
You can just call me Cupid.
Well, why didn't you just say that? You're over here talking to me like I'm Caesar or something. Fun fact, that's Cupid's actual name, which is why everyone just calls him Cupid. Bro has a sentence for a name. Maggie doesn't believe that she's actually talking to Cupid because, well, He doesn't exactly look like that anymore. She would also sound insane if she told people that the god of love was talking to her. But he isn't there for no reason. He tells her that he notices she has a little crush on Brendan. I think it's more than a crush. Her eyes were pretty much super glued to that guy. Cupid offers to help her because he claims it's obvious love, but it's not real love unless the other person feels the same way. And he tries his best to use his charisma to convince her that she should let him help them. But in the end, she doesn't take it, which is no problem to old Cupid. He knows she'll be back. Then Maggie wakes up, smoke still filling the room as Miss Stevenson helps her up and tells her that she was talking in her sleep. So everyone heard about her crush on Brendan. Yikes. Then Miss Stevenson asks Maggie to hang out after class and help clean up the mess that she made. Shouldn't you take her to the nurse? I mean, she just had an explosion occur right in front of her, which blew her off her feet, and she passed out for a second. What if she has like a concussion or something? You think you should check on that? Anyway, she says sure, she'll help, and luckily for her, Stuart offers to stay and help as well, which she kindly...
No.
Damn. He was just asking. Later, Maggie is at her locker once again, staring at Brendan as he flirts with 3 girls at a time. Are you sure you want to date this guy? I'm just saying, man, that's a bit of a red flag to me. Then she takes a look at herself in the mirror and notices that she has a massive pimple on her forehead. And she tries to cover it up with makeup so when Brendan comes down the hall, she can ask him to the Valentine's Day dance at the school. She hypes herself up in the mirror as he gets closer and shoots her shot and... completely misses. Bro didn't even stop moving. Little did she know her friend Cupid saw the whole thing and offers her another shot at making Brendan fall in love with her. We also get a glimpse of what it looks like when she talks to Cupid, and it's pretty funny. Makes her look a little bit crazy, but that's okay. They follow Brendan outside and Cupid shows Maggie his new and improved arrow. It's filled with the right amount of adrenaline, dopamine, and serotonin, and once you let it react in the person's body, you get love. This all sounds great to Maggie, but she still doesn't believe him. Bro, he's literally Cupid. Cupid! How are you not going to believe him? It's literally all he does! But it really doesn't matter if she believes him or not. All he tells her is that she has to be the first person he sees when he wakes up, and then he'll do all the rest. So they execute the plan, and oh my god, that had to hurt. There's no way! I guess they say love hurts, but I thought that was like metaphorical. I didn't believe that love hurt like an arrow to the shoulder. After Brendan finally comes to, Maggie is indeed the first person he sees, and like a love charm shot by Cupid himself, he falls head over heels for her, leaving all of the other girls super confused. The next day, Brendan brings Maggie a cute bouquet of flowers just to show his love for her, and they have a nice lunch together. Brendan asks if they can take some pictures and also if they can update their statuses. But bro doesn't even wait for Maggie to finish eating before snapping a few pics, and she looks not very good, to say the least. But he doesn't think so. He thinks she's beautiful all of the time. I don't know, man, you did get that one mid-bite. It's a bit rough. And then he questions how he spent so long going to the same school as her, but he never even noticed her. Probably because he was too busy being surrounded by other girls that he couldn't even see past them. But before they can even get an answer, this girl named Girl Number 1 comes and steals Brendan away so that they can go practice their school's rendition of Romeo and Juliet. Maggie doesn't really trust Brendan, or more so, Girl Number 1, so she sneakily watches them practice from the hallway. And while watching, she gets super jealous and accidentally interrupts their practice just before the kiss scene. Oh, I'm pretty sure that's Girl Number 1's favorite part. Maggie can't stand the thought of Brendan falling for someone else, so she heads back to the chemistry lab where she first met Cupid and calls out to him. It takes him a second, but he eventually does appear in a snazzy red robe. Bro looks like Hugh Hefner, except for he actually helps people and doesn't exploit them for millions of dollars. Maggie tells Cupid that she thinks his shot on Brendan is wearing off because he's doing a scene with another girl, and she's afraid that he will choose Girl Number 1 over her. That's impossible. She doesn't even have a name in this episode.
Girl and...
No, not scene partners.
Obviously, Cupid's being facetious here, and he tells Maggie that she doesn't need to worry about anything even more. He shot him with one of Cupid's famous arrows, and now he is hers forever. But Maggie still doesn't trust it. She wants Cupid to shoot him with another arrow just to make sure. He tries to talk her down, telling her that he gave Brendan the right dosage and any more could lead to some pretty bad things. But Maggie doesn't care about dosages and all this other bullcrap. She just wants to make sure that Brendan is hers forever. This causes Cupid to crash out on Maggie. He tells her that all humans are the same, all greedy, never satisfied.
You always want more love, more control. Do you have any idea how much destruction I have seen? Huh?
But sadly for Cupid, he is forced to do as she wishes, but he did warn her of the consequences. Later they execute the plan again. This time Cupid shoots Brendan in the heart, and when he wakes up, there's something different about him. He gives Maggie a tight hug and can't help but squeeze her until she cannot breathe anymore. After she finally gets him off of her, they walk down the hall and it's revealed that Stuart, the kid that has a crush on Maggie, saw the whole thing. Actually, he's been in every scene this episode. He's seen Maggie talking to Cupid. He saw her when she forced Brendan to fall in love with her. He was there when they were taking pictures. Oh, wait, that's another nerdy kid. Never mind. But he's just been around and now he knows something's up with Maggie. The next day, it's finally Valentine's Day, and Brendan brings Maggie a beautiful bouquet of flowers, even better than the ones he brought yesterday.
I told you, your Valentine's bouquet was gonna be El Burrito Supremo.
You told her that her flowers are gonna be Supreme Burrito? What does that even mean? Does he think that means big bunch of flowers? Does he know he's speaking Spanish? Does he know what a burrito is? Hell, he's probably too busy looks-maxing to know what a carb is. He tries to force the flowers into Maggie's hand and one of the thorns pricks her finger. Having hurt his love, he panics and drops the flowers to the floor to kiss her boo-boo. Not gonna lie, for a second, I thought he was gonna start drinking her blood like a vampire. I've been watching too many vampire movies apparently. I don't know why my brain went there. After 5 too many kisses to her boo-boo, Brendan gives her a nice little gift to open. What kind of gift is that? He says that he got her the cutest, furriest thing in the pet shop. Yeah? The spider? Are you sure there wasn't another cute furry animal like, oh, I don't know, a dog or a cat? Something nicer? Even a hamster is furrier than a spider. Because Brendan is causing a scene in the classroom, Miss Stevenson sends him to the principal's office. But strangely, he acts like it'll be the last time he ever sees Maggie. He grips her hands and tells her that they won't do anything to keep them apart.
Come on. I love you. I love you.
And then crazily shouts, I love you, as Miss Stevenson pulls him down the hallway, and even worse, the spider bites Maggie on the neck. Talk about a series of unfortunate events. Later that day, after detention, Brendan and Maggie have a little chat. She tells Brendan that she kind of tricked him into falling in love with her using chemicals. It's also kind of funny because in this scene, he calls her Magpie, which is actually a really cool looking bird, but they can also symbolize trickery, which is exactly what she did to make him fall in love with her. Don't know if that was intentional, but it's something I caught on to. At first, Brendan doesn't believe Maggie, so she shows him Cupid's arrow and tells him that she got Cupid himself to shoot him with an arrow, and that's how he passed out and that's how they fell in love. Brendan looks at her with this deep anger, but quickly his anger turns back into a smile. He's just too head over heels for Maggie that he can't even get mad at her. Maggie was hoping that her telling him this would get him so mad that he would break up with her, but since that backfired, Maggie does the only thing she can think of and she breaks up with him. And it turns out that Brendan can get mad at Maggie because right when she mentions them separating, his smile turns into pure anger and he forces Maggie to face with what she did. He mentions that it's not fair that she forced him to love her, and now that she got what she wanted, she's breaking up with him? She could even last a day with him, which is a great point. Sadly, he ruins it by grabbing her and forcing her to love him. She gets away by smacking him with her book bag and escaping up the stairs. Brendan chases Maggie through the halls, shouting her name as the lights to the school slowly go out. Maggie is absolutely panicking and she doesn't stop running, sprinting down the corridors as if she were stuck in a maze, with Brendan not far behind her, shouting for her with anger in his voice. An anger that slowly turns to sadness. Brendan is literally going crazy over her, and it's all her fault.
Don't hurt me like this, Maggie. Please.
Eventually, Maggie does escape the crazed Brendan and calls out to Cupid once again. This time, he appears instantly in another fire outfit. Man, I've got to see this guy's closet. He has some crazy fits. She begs Cupid to make him stop, to take back the love potion, do something to make him not love her anymore. But Cupid can't do anything. What's done is done, and there's no stopping Brendan. He did warn her that she shouldn't have given him another dose, but she didn't listen. And while they're having this conversation, Brendan can be heard banging on lockers, calling out to Maggie, begging her to come back to him, which adds a lot of intensity to the scene and actually a little bit of urgency for Maggie. Cupid is all calm and cool as this guy is chasing her down, trying to force her to love him. Maggie begs Cupid to do something because if he doesn't, Brendan is probably going to kill her. And after a minute of pleading, Cupid finally agrees to help Maggie. But he can't make Brendan not love her anymore. He does have another plan though. Just before Cupid can do anything to help Maggie,
There you are, my little twiglet.
Brendan smashes through some decorations for the Valentine's Day dance. Hey, you could have used the door. The door that's right there, the door that Maggie used. Yeah, you could have used that. It's kind of like wide open. You could even like sprint through it if you wanted to. Afraid for her life, Maggie runs away again and back down some stairs with Brendan following close behind. Except Brendan stops at the top of the stairs to tell her how much he loves her, and Cupid decides that he can finally go ahead with his plan. And pushes him down the stairs. So his plan was to kill the kid? I'm not condoning this, but I mean, it's pretty effective. He also falls for a comedic amount of time. It's almost like a full 10 seconds of falling. After finding Brendan unconscious on the floor, she angrily turns back to ask Cupid why he did that, and he tells her that he did what she asked. She asked to be alone, and he made that happen. Okay, so I should preface that he didn't actually kill Brendan, he just knocked him out and put him in the hospital for a few weeks. So he's going to be okay. Don't come at me for the Haunting Hour killing a kid. I get hate comments for what the Haunting Hour does. A few weeks later, while in chemistry again, Cupid walks by in the hall and Maggie spots him and starts quietly calling out to him. And this strange behavior gains the attention of Stuart once again. Maggie asks if she can go to the bathroom so she can catch up to Cupid, but it seems like he just disappears. Stuart has been getting increasingly worried about Maggie, so he follows her into the hall to make sure that she's okay. Apparently, people have been really mean to Maggie since Brendan's fall because she literally hugs Stuart for talking to her. And obviously, since Stuart has a huge crush on her, he is overjoyed to receive a hug and that she actually knows his name and is talking to him. Turns out what was happening between Maggie and Brendan at the beginning of the episode was also happening between her and Stuart without her knowing. He's always been around her since like the 4th grade, but she's never really noticed him or even really talked to him, besides the occasional like blow off that she did earlier.
Do you need any help with anything?
No.
He asks about Brendan and she tells him that he's okay, but they're officially over, they're not gonna get back together. And Stuart tells her to not worry, she will surely find love again really soon. And then he peeks over her shoulder, which makes her turn around, and my boy Cupid is standing there at the end of the hall, locked and loaded to make Maggie fall in love with Stuart, which obviously works beautifully. Never underestimate Cupid. And that's the end of the episode. A surprisingly dark episode, actually. I was pretty surprised by this episode. I expected it to be silly, and it absolutely is silly for the majority of the episode, but that ending scene with Brendan crazily chasing her through the school like Jack from The Shining was actually kind of scary. Like, that was something that probably has happened and could happen in real life, minus all the Cupid shooting in the arrow stuff, but crazy boyfriend chasing girlfriend kind of thing. I can only imagine what this episode was like for women who have been in a similar situation with like creepy dudes chasing them because they feel like they are owed something from the woman. You should really check this episode out if you haven't, just for that one scene. It's super intense. Joel Simande did an incredible job. It really seems like he's lost his mind. He cries out to Maggie like she's the only reason he is alive. His facial expressions are also really great. They're such big, exaggerated emotions. His performance really sells this scene, and he really kind of steals the whole episode in just that one scene. I have to give it to him. But other than that incredible final scene, I feel like the rest of the episode is just a fun little episode. I think it's funny seeing a middle-aged Cupid still helping people out. He's also always wearing such fire outfits, like damn. I think David DeLuise did such a good job as Cupid. He's so charismatic and super nice, and it seems like he really wants everyone to be happy. Before I even watched this episode, I thought Cupid would be the bad guy in the episode. Not saying that him pushing somebody down the stairs makes him the good guy, but I mean, like, I thought he was gonna be the one pulling the strings, making all the spooky stuff happen. But no, he actually tries to keep everything balanced. He warns Maggie multiple times to not hit Brendan with another shot because it won't turn out the way she thinks it will, but leave it up to the unstoppable human greed to ruin everything. Luckily, this is just a kid's show and greed doesn't ruin anything in real life. I also really like that Cupid uses real chemicals to make people fall in love. I'm not exactly sure which chemicals actually make you fall in love or if the episode even got them right, but I like that even a magical being needs science in order to do his job. I guess you could say that in order to help you fall in love, even Cupid needs chemistry. Overall, it's a good episode, not one that chills you to your bones or sticks with you for a while or anything, but just a fun watch. I watched the episode about 4 times in order to make this video, and I didn't get bored of it, which is good to me because sometimes it's a chore getting through these episodes, especially after you watch it multiple times. I'm actually kind of glad that they took the spirit of the holiday and tried to make that scary, rather than just turning the holiday into a slasher, because that makes everything scary, right? I recommend that you check the episode out for yourself, maybe with your significant other, and have a fun and safe Valentine's Day this year. And I know I don't say it a lot, but I love you all more than you love me. And that's a fact. But that's all I've got for you today. I have a Patreon. The $5 members get bonus content plus videos a day early, maybe some pictures of my cats, a Discord server, and your name right here on screen. Like the video if you like the video. Thank you for watching the video all the way through. I appreciate you all, and peace.